Okay. So this is going to be a super raw video. Not going to overthink it. Just want to tell you where I'm at. So this time last year, I quit my job as a project manager for a storage company called CubeSmart. And so I was working in IT project management. I was making 92 and it was like a 10K bonus, something like that. So it ended up being like six figures. So I was doing that. I'd been working there for about 3 years. I'd been working in the IT space for a while. Felt super discontent, and that's what led me to start my first side hustle, which was Amazon FBA, which didn't really pan out. I kind of quit that. And that led me into my second side hustle, which was Integrity Media, a content agency. I started that in February of 2023. And I'm recording this in June. Last June, I had two clients. One was Corey Ganem. The other one was Dylan Jarvis. Dylan was just signed on. We were already like really rapidly growing her YouTube channel. She was rapidly growing her community. So it was really just like a perfect fit. And something about it just gave me the confidence. And so I just quit. And I had no idea, really had no idea what I was getting myself into. When I quit corporate, I was so pumped about the fact that I was so excited to be an entrepreneur that I don't think I really counted the cost of what entrepreneurship actually meant. I didn't recognize, you hear the stories about how everyone's they worked 80-hour weeks, they sacrifice so much, they do so much, and you're, instead of training a 9 to 5, it's like a 24/7, and I think I was just naive in thinking that wouldn't be me, that I'd be better at balancing myself, that I'd be better at balancing my values, be better at balancing family time. But this past year has really been a grind. I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot, but those first couple months really sucked. Couple clients, getting results. Dylan ended up being a crazy case study. It gave me a lot of confidence that I was good. Maybe overconfidence that I was good. And I was able to leverage that to essentially, I didn't make any money from those first two clients. One Corey was paying me $1,500 a month just to do YouTube and launch a podcast. And then Dylan was paying us $7,000. And through those two, we were hiring out, I was working with a guy named Logan, and we were hiring out stuff and working on stuff. We brought on editors. I wasn't reliant on the cash just because I had that corporate job, so I wasn't reliant on it. And then once I quit, something really dumb was that I was I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to move. And I'd grown up in Pennsylvania all my life, but for some reason I was just I'm going to do both of these things. I'd over COVID and before that, I'd always just I just been sitting on my ass too long, and I was I'm just not going to do that anymore. So I just quit, and we moved to Florida. Didn't even really visit the apartment before we got it. We just went. It was in a sketchy area. It was a sketchy place. It was in the type of Florida where literally a woman got eaten by an alligator on our road. The month we were there, the first month we arrived, a woman got eaten by an alligator. It was crazy. You can look this up. And I think we were just overwhelmed. And when we were hustling, I was just I thought I would scale faster. The first 3 months were a grind. That was hard. Then we kind of got a couple more clients, and we inched our way to 20K. But 20K, 10 to 20K for an agency, that's such a scary place to be, because you don't feel cash rich. You feel if I lose one client, I'm not making money. You don't feel you have the resources to outsource and really bring people on as a team. And you're mostly fulfilling stuff yourself. So it feels it's just kind of a glorified freelance, where it doesn't, you go into entrepreneurship because you feel like a business, and then you realize, I just got a bunch of clients. I got a few clients. And suddenly I just have a bunch of bosses. I think I lost myself in there a little bit. And then the fall came and got a couple more clients. And I started doing like consulting stuff on the side, just like, you realize like, not everybody can pay me, $6,000 a month to do short form. Not everybody can pay me a lot of money to do a lot of stuff. And some people still need help. So I'm going to find ways to help people and charge people. And that's what I did. And I found people that needed help. I charged them, really grinded hard, really strategized, and made ends meet. But that next set of months was really hard, just because, you're like fulfilling, spending a lot of time doing that. You're trying to get new clients, spending a lot of time doing that. And then you're not really thinking about how do I build systems and structures so that I can actually scale. At that time, Logan, who was the guy I really started this with, he stopped working with me and he focused on just doing Dylan's content, and it worked out. But that really sucked because he complimented me in a lot of ways, and I had to pick up a lot of the stuff from that, and that really sucked. So October, really through December, was like really, really hard. It was really hard. I went to Client Ascension in the event in October, and I just felt, I hated how I felt that day. I hated how I felt. Just like, man, what am I doing? I'm not trying to run a business that's just doing 20, 30K a month. I'm not trying to do this. I'm not proud of 25K a month. I'm not proud of that. That's not a business to me. That's barely a job. Like I'm still making less than I was making at my corporate job. I carried that insecurity on for the rest of the year. And I think October was like 20 something, 27. November was like 25, 23, something like that. December was 17. That really sucked. That was awful. And then boom, January hit, and something happened in like a 2-week span where a bunch of clients just converted. A bunch of leads just like came on at the same time. And I immediately went to like 38, like just right around 40. I immediately got into like that range. And then something else happened. I focused on, I was like, okay, I have money now. First things first, investing in education. So I went to not Client Ascension, I went to Agency Founders, Eddie Myloose event, who I had met at Client Ascension. And I was like, I'm just going to come here and I'm going to learn how real agencies do their business. And yes, I was feeling pretty good being like, yep, I'm now, 30, 40K, feeling pretty good about myself, right? And then I realized I was still at the little kids table, because everyone that I was interacting with, like, they're doing ads or SEO, and they're doing, 250, 500K months, right? Like talking about teams, talking about ops, talking about client, like not client acquisition, which was what, that's your first hurdle, but then like talent acquisition and SOPs and processes and systems. And I just realized how over my head I was. So I brought on people, not qualified people, but I brought on people. And I built a team, and I invested in SOPs. And I hired an operator, someone who was another project manager, a friend of mine, brought him on to be kind of an operator and build out some systems for me. And it was awesome. That was probably the best decision I've made in the past 6 months, was just doing that, because I had this like surge of clients, surge of workload, realizing I was the bottleneck because I was fulfilling, and as long as I was fulfilling, it sucked. So we spent from January through March into April. So January into April, I traveled at least once a week shooting with clients. At least once a week, every single week for those 2 months. And dude, that really hurt. This is raw. Like I want to, I'll talk, you can see things, and I can talk about, it's cool. Like every month making 40K a month, we're building a team, we're building structure, we're grinding, we're hustling. Man, that took a toll on, like, I'm not a kid. I got kids. I got 2 kids. I'm 27. I got a wife and 2 kids, and I just didn't. The reason I quit corporate was so that I could be with my family more. I quit corporate. I gave my corporate job an ultimatum. I said, I'm going to move to Florida. I want to be fully remote. And if you can't make that happen, I'm leaving. And they said, we can't make it happen. So I left. And I traded those 2 days in office at a corporate job, which I hated those 2 days working for somebody else. I hated them. And I traded those 2 days for 2 to 3 day trips where I'm flying across the country, meeting cool people, doing cool things, right? It's really awesome. I'm not gonna lie, like it's fun. It's really fun. I love traveling like that. But by that second day, you're just like, man, I just want to kiss my kid. I just want to hold him. And I miss, like seeing a picture of my son walking, and I'm just like, I want to be there. I want to be present for it. And so that sucked. But I built the team. We stabilized. So January, really through this past month, has been 40K. We haven't really churned anybody. I shot my shot with a guy named Cody Jefferson. And his content really did well. I kind of came in on the tail end of it when it was already doing good. So yes, my videos got lots of views, but I'm not gonna lie, his account was doing well. So it's like, he was gonna get 10 million views whether I made those videos or not. Some people just have it. And then he was the first person that was like, Grant, I think I'm fine. And that sucked. That sucked. Cause I think just realizing like my flaws, and I kind of, in this whole past year, like I'm recording this in kind of like a vulnerable down moment, but this whole past year, I fluctuate from like 8 hours of like almost arrogant confidence. I can do this. Like, let's do this. And I go straight to 8 hours of like insecurity. And I'm recording this, unfortunately, in 8 hours of insecurity spot. But man, like anytime you churn, that sucks. Like we have fortunately not had to deal with churn. Corey's been a client for over a year. Warner's been a client for almost a full year. Come August, it'll be a full year. Dylan, I've been working with him since October of 2023. Jonah was he and I started in February this past year, so he's 4 or 5 months. Diana for 5 months now. That's awesome. The most in content agencies, like in that world, the churn is usually 3 months. So the fact that we're keeping clients is super cool. Doesn't change the fact that when one leaves, you're like, ugh, that sucks ass. Like it really sucks. Anyway, that's where I'm at. We've been stabilized. We've been, I would argue, like stuck at 40K. And it's kind of a similar bottleneck where, yes, I have team, right? We have team calls, we have team one-on-ones. People are doing stuff, we're grinding. I'm not over leveraged on my time, but I haven't made money, dude. I haven't made money. And even if I did, yes, I could take the profits for myself. I have yet to pay myself more than $10,000 in a month. That's like as raw as I possibly can get. And that's not necessarily from mismanagement. It's education. It's, investing in team. My actual profit margin, right? Like I think for April, I got my bookkeeper sent me stuff, and I think it was that was my first, okay, you did like 20K profit. Sweet. Taxes hit that month. That sucked ass. And then, I think I just wanted to make sure that I was staying afloat. And so instead of, I'm continually paying myself between 4K and 7K a month. And I want to make sure that my business bank account has at least 3 months of runway for my team, so that we're not that agency that's like, oh, we're about to not make money. Oh, somebody has to get fired. I don't want to have that. I want to be able to lose clients and still keep my team and go get more clients. So let's get to the point. Here's the vision. I am going to scale this bitch. Sorry, Mom. I'm going to scale this thing to 100K a month. I'm going to. And I'm going to do that in the next 6 months. No, there's very few people that do what I do, short form content, any content. There's very few agencies that last more than a year because all of them go to coaching. All of them hit that 40K, get to my pain point and say, I'm just going to teach people how to get to 40K a month, which is dumb because frankly, if your systems were good enough to get to 40K a month, you'd still be keeping that business and still be working and still be coaching people. I don't really have a desire to coach people. I just want to make a business that's worth something. I want to make content that's important. And yeah, I don't want to teach how to get here. I want to get past here. I don't think it's interesting to hit 40, 50K months. I don't think that's interesting. I want $1 million business and not I hit 80K or 88K in 1 month and I'm saying I have $1 million business because I have $1 million run rate. No, I literally want to see $1 million of revenue come through my business at a minimum 30% profit margin. That's what I want. And then I want to figure out how to stabilize that. And then maybe I'll coach it. Then maybe I'll teach people. But that's what I want. I want to figure out how to get there and stay there. And I want to not sacrifice my family in the process. So every decision I'm making, every investment I make, it's in team and it's in process that will allow me to not have to travel and not have to stress and not have to feel like I need to work ridiculous hours. I will, but there has to be an endpoint because my family did not ask for this. My wife and kids did not ask me to start a business. They didn't ask me to. They just want to spend time with me. They don't need me to be rich. They don't need me to be wealthy. That's me. That's me being selfish. So I want to make decisions that promote the end goal, which is being the best dad that I can be and being the best husband that I can be. And I also want to impact a lot of people along the way. So next 6 months, I'm investing a lot in content for myself, personal branding for myself so I can stop being a hypocrite. That's why you're going to see weekly videos. I'm going to make that happen. And then, yeah, I'm going to get this business to 100K a month and you're going to watch me do it. And I'm going to give away everything. Not because I have an end goal of making money from you, but because this sucked. This past year, cool moments, lots of ups, tons of ups, but it sucked. It was hard, I should say. Like, it's good, but it was hard. And I don't want anyone else to have to experience that. So that's where I'll sign off. But I'm not going to stop investing in myself. I'm not going to quit. I really want to see what happens. Like I've had those phone calls with my dad, man. I hit my dad up. I still call my dad. 27 years old. I'm a father. I'm out of my family is not like in my life in that same sense, but like I call my dad and I called him and I remember telling him at Client Ascension, I was like, dude, what am I doing? I actually have had that phone call with him like 3 times. I'm like, Dad, what am I doing? Is this dumb? And he's just like, every time he's just been like, keep going. You got this. And I'm not going to lie, I needed to hear it those times. And maybe you're in that spot here too, where you're saying, dude, I really want to quit. Or I'm sitting at my desk job and I want to get started. I would love to help you. I would love for everything that I do, every piece of content that I make to help you take that action. Yeah. Let's call it there.